Welcome to the monthly book review at the West End Library in Laurelton, Pennsylvania. The Foundling is a very new release and was fascinating to read. The author, Anne Leary, based the book on fact, following the author's trying to discover her genealogy through her grandmother and how her grandmother had become an orphan. The story revolves around a teenage girl who is to represent the author's grandmother. The teen, Mary Engel, spent many years in an orphanage due to circumstances within her family, and at the age of 17 began working at a facility in central Pennsylvania. The woman who ran the facility in the beautiful Pennsylvania surroundings, Dr. Agnes Vogel, was one of the first female physicians and one of the first female psychiatrists. The facility was to house women and girls who were found to be defective. This labeling was either in regards to mental deficiency or a moral one. The residents at the facility did all the work to help establish the center as well as maintain it. This work consisted of clearing the trees off the mountainside, clearing, plowing, and raising all the crops to be eaten by the residents, caring for the animals on the property, which provided not only the milk from the dairy cattle, but also the meat. This facility in the 1920s was one of the largest and most self-sufficient public asylums for women in the world. The facility or institution was known in the book The Foundling as Nettleton State Village for feeble-minded women of childbearing age. Mary began working at the facility, institution, center, whatever you want to call it, as a secretary, and in short time, through her exceptional work ethic and quality of work, moved into the personal assistance of the facility director, Dr. Vogel. This was a very prestigious job at the time, which also provided Mary with not only a salary, but also room and board. Everything happening at the facility appears to Mary to be providing the residents with the best care. Some of the, quote, higher functioning women were able to go out into the local communities during the days to perform housekeeping duties. These particular residents did not receive any of the monies personally that they were earning, but instead the monies were paid to the facility itself, claiming it was used to provide for the residents' care. At one point, Mary happens to notice one of the residents as someone she had known from the Catholic orphanage where she had spent many years. Mary tried making inquiries about this person, was told she must have been mistaken, and realized that if she pursued information openly, she would lose her job because of knowing one of the residents. Mary, however, did begin to delve into this person, looking through resident personal files when her employer was out on fundraising engagements or simply out of the office. Mary was able to connect with the resident Lillian she had recognized, and they began meeting at clandestine places, enabling Mary to find out why Lillian had been sent to Nettleton. She found out that she had had an affair with a man, became pregnant, married someone else, had the baby taken away, and Lillian then placed in Nettleton by her husband. There were many girls and women placed at Nettleton that were of normal intelligence but were placed there due to circumstances that at the time were not understood by the general public, and Mary began researching this. While Mary was uncovering all of this information, she had met a gentleman named Jake, who happened to be a reporter, and with Mary's help began delving into some of the underlying issues at the facility. The facility being discussed and described is a fictional story about a local institution, Laurelton State Village for feeble-minded women of childbearing age. This facility cared for a lot of individuals through the year and was a very large employer of local community residents. The facility eventually transitioned over to folks who were truly mentally challenged and eventually closed when Pennsylvania started placing such individuals in group home or aftercare facilities, as they were also known. I myself managed an aftercare facility and also worked in a sheltered workshop for mentally challenged, and most of the residents had been residents of Laurelton or another facility in Selinsgrove, simply known as Selinsgrove Center. The Foundling is a good read. It holds your attention and brings out some information about facilities that were common in the early 1900s. Take the time to read The Foundling and step into a piece of history of our own rural area.